Hello, my name is Andy and I am the Village Idiot. I'm armed with a car and a GoPro and an unhealthy amount of time on my hands. I'm using that time to attempt to visit every civil parish in England. You're watching the Rugby series, one of the northernmost parts of the county of Warwickshire, with 41 civil parishes within it. Here's one of them in more detail. Welcome back to Rugby for the third time, people, and today we've got a bigger village than the last two you've seen in this district. This place has a castle, it has plenty of old worldy buildings, as my mother would say. It's got two pubs, it's got a war memorial, it's got all sorts of other things too, and its name is Brinklow. Here's my disclaimer for people who may be watching me for the first time. I say things as I would in my native accent and dialect. As a result, I may not pronounce things in the same way as the locals do. Remember, I'm a visitor. It's impossible to know everything. Leave me a comment, spin me a like and bash that subscribe button. Let's get to today's parish video. Here we go again in Rugby, and today we're looking at Brinklow, a village which sits about halfway between the major towns of Rugby and Coventry, just to the south of Stretton-under-Foss. Brinklow sits astride the former Roman Fosse Way and is most notable for the remains of a large Norman motte-and-bailey castle. It was once located on a winding, meandering loop of the Oxford Canal until its course was changed. The canal remains a source of income thanks to the Rose Narrowboats boatyard, founded in 1960. The canal also has an unusual feature here, an aqueduct known as the Brinklow Arches, where the canal runs over the Smite Brook, mentioned last time out in Stretton, and also a footpath. Brinklow was established as a market town during the Middle Ages and was once more considerably important than it is today. Mind you, it still does have a fair attraction for visitors. The castle is the main draw, but this is a village that's got plenty of shops, a wonderful selection of pubs, a school and a nursery, and a fabulous 13th century church. No wonder then, in 2017, Rugby Borough Council proposed creating 100 new homes for the overflow population from Coventry and Rugby on farmland off Lutterworth Road, close to the Oxford Canal. Let's go and have a wander around yet another gorgeous slice of rural Warwickshire. Contrary to what I said in the intro, there are in fact 3 pubs in Brinklow. We begin at the first one. This is the Bull's Head, located on Coventry Road at number 9. Good food here apparently. Buses in the village are exactly the same as the ones in both Stretton-under-Foss and Paleton. That means you need the 85s again, although Brinklow also gets the 85B between Coventry and Rugby. The bus stop also has one of the parish notice boards, so we'll get that out of the way nice and early. Thumbs up from Nikki, and off we go again. Here's a popular local event. Brinklow holds a Scarecrow Festival in August, which includes a Scarecrow Trail. The event also boasts craft stalls, a dog show, a classic car show, and even a fly past. So where we are here is an area that's known as Great Balance, and that's because there's a street here called Great Balance, which we will be walking onto very soon, once we've traversed Heath Lane, turned right at the end and turned right again. Now we're on Great Balance, which is the street on this estate with the most houses, hence why it's referred to as such. Right in the middle there's a massive willow tree, surely the tallest one I've ever seen. The Great Balance area is where a mobile library parks itself when it visits Brinklow. It comes to Potter's Close off Heath Lane every 3 weeks, between 3:20 p.m. and 3:50 p.m. on Mondays. And our next major landmark is the playing field, which you access by using a nice little public footpath which runs up towards it behind the main street.
Looks like there'll be some shade.
I imagine there'll be some trees out there somewhere. Mind you, that weeping willow was good for a bit of shade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Now we're moving away from Great Balance and we're off to the playing field next via the old red phone box, which here has been turned into a book exchange. This tree-lined path takes us to the playing field, Bar Lane playing field to give it its full title. These trees were a welcome respite from the sun, which by now was quite fierce. The building you can see through the trees is the Old Rectory, a Grade 2 listed building made of yellow brick in Flemish bond, built during the Imperial period. Here then is the playing field, the ideal time to introduce you to Brinklow Football Club, founded well over 100 years ago with approximately 250 members ranging from age 4 to the senior teams. The playing field is quite extensive. Before the Oxford Canal's route was changed, it used to run in a circular fashion around the playing field before heading northeast towards its current route. At the end of the playing field, the large building away to the left is the Rugby Surgery, once again this area making a reference to the name Revel, which we spoke about last time out. Given how historic the place is, I was a little surprised that Brinklow doesn't have a great deal in the way of information boards. Aside from this one and one at the castle entrance, this was really it. Okay, we're coming towards the church now, which thankfully is open, which means I can go in and get cooled down a little bit. It's starting to get very warm now, so there we go, the door's open, let's go in and have a look around. Seeing as the Church of St John the Baptist sits alongside the site of Brinklow Castle, this is believed to have possibly been what's known as a castle chapel at first. Inside we have a roll of honour on the wall. Brinklow's main war memorial sits on the Fosse Way, and it's our last stop around our route. Archaeological finds here have been numerous. These have included a residual shard of Romano-British pottery, a fragment of medieval floor tile, and fragments of a 17th century clay pipe. The church is located just outside the bailey of the castle, with the churchyard butting up against the earthworks. It's rather the inconvenient position, which means the altar is nearly 10 feet higher than the floor of the west end. Even the chancel cuts into the hillside. This all suggests that the present church developed from a much smaller building. Be careful of its uneven path, by the way. Now, Brinklow Castle is right next to the church, but there are two entrances to it, and we're going to go around to the other one so that I can come back across it to this main street. On the way, we pass a few other things, like, for example, a school. Here we go, the Revel Church of England Aided Primary School, Brinklow Annex, which is this building right here. Here's the Ofsted registered Railway Children Nursery. This originated in 1992 in Coventry, and here in Brinklow is its sister site. It's been here since 2000, and the owner of both is known as Nanny Penny. Brinklow does continue for a short way further north, which is where you'll find Rose Narrowboats and the site of the former Brinklow station on the Trent Valley line between Brinklow and Stretton. Okay, I'm on L Lane now, which is a hill. Whew, quite a steep hill actually. The first one I've encountered since I've been in rugby. And here we have the entrance to Brinklow Castle, which, as you can see, is quite large. We're going to climb all the way to the top of that. I imagine there's quite a good view up there. Brinklow Castle is known locally as the Tump or the Big Hill. It stands off Elle Lane and is one of the largest and best preserved of its type in England. The castle is believed to be built on the site of an ancient burial mound or Roman signal station, although this has never been confirmed. Whatever the case though, this is well worth a visit. The mound may well be responsible for Brinklow's name. In Welsh, the word Bryn means hill, so by simple geographic translation across the England-Wales border, it's entirely plausible that the Bryn in Brinklow could mean the same. It's believed to be likely the name Brinklow is a combination of that and the Anglo-Saxon word hlor, which also means hill. From the top, you get an absolutely amazing view. The mound is surrounded by a defensive ditch, typical of motte-and-bailey castles. The motte here is 12 metres high, and its original bailey was 121 metres wide by 152. That's worth the effort for the view, isn't it? Unbelievable. That's fabulous. That's one of the best panoramas I think I've seen whilst doing this. It's brilliant, and on a clear day like this, it just looks even more spectacular, doesn't it? Now, what goes up must come back down. So I've got to somehow get down off the castle now, pick up that footpath, and it'll take me back towards the village. The castle was abandoned by the 13th century for reasons unknown. Today it remains as Brinklow's largest landmark, literally, and the one that the locals are immensely proud of. Let's head back now. Back on the main road, this next thing took me ages to find some information about. Even then, I'm still sketchy on this. This appears to be an old garage and petrol station named Wilkins Garage. Next door is the second of the three pubs. This is the Raven, described as a traditional country pub. The Raven was, or perhaps still is, the sponsor of Brinklow Football Club. The website I found was a little dated. I've got to tell you, I have been to Warwickshire before in my time, but not to anywhere like this. This is such a beautiful part of England, it really is. And if this is a sign of things to come, then this is going to be an awesome place to cover on the channel going forward, isn't it? It's going to be fantastic. I never knew...
Just let it not be as hot next time.
I never knew a town like Rugby could have villages like this around it, which are just beautiful. It's awesome. Here we have Brinklow Community Hall. This is effectively a village hall, used as it is as a venue for many a village club and event. Brinklow Football Club's home facilities are based within too. Over the road is the White Lion. This is a friendly local which also serves as a B&B as well. That's why initially I stated there were only 2 pubs here, as opposed to 3. This is Broad Street, by the way, the main village centre. It might be hard to believe now, but when the Oxford Canal was completed in 1778, the section through Brinklow crossed this. In amongst all the shops, and there are plenty, there's a post office. There's also Pumpkin's Deli, which is exactly what it says on the tin. We called in for some food. After a short while, we re-emerged with 2 salads. These were called Summer Breeze, aptly named for the time of year, and they were big and heavy, loaded as they were with halloumi and chicken. Okay, not much left to show you here on this main walk around, although one thing we have not yet covered is the old route of the Oxford Canal, and we can go and see that by taking a footpath which is just behind this church right here. So we'll catch the rest of the end of this street, we'll find that footpath, and we'll go and find the old route of the canal. The United Reformed Church here is still very much active. It holds Sunday morning services at 10:30 AM and it's in a partnership with the sister church in Rugby. That's really all I could find about this one. Right next to this we've got Brinklow's Chippy, so if you fancy some chips to go with your salad from Pumpkin's Deli, it's all here in one spot. This place is short of absolutely nothing. Now let's go up that footpath which runs across some farmland and to the rear of a large farm off the Fosse Way. Up here, you can find part of the Oxford Canal's old route. Okay, so it's a little overgrown, this footpath in places, but we are level with the old route of the Oxford Canal, because I believe it ran somewhere here, either along there. It's probably here actually, because I can see like a little channel here. Look behind this gate. That right there would have been where the canal ran. Of course, it's no longer used as such. You wouldn't be able to get a boat in there these days, and it's very much overgrown. But yeah, that's where the Oxford Canal used to go. It used to bend round across the playing field where we were earlier, and then it joins the current Oxford Canal a bit further to the north where it used to. And there we go. So now all I've got to do is finish walking down this footpath, which, as you can see, it's not the greatest footpath in the world, but it's good enough. It's good enough. It's certainly not muddy or anything like that, mind you. In this weather it's got no chance of being muddy. It's just dry, isn't it? It will eventually take us back to Fosse Way, and then the last thing to catch will be the War Memorial, which we haven't talked about yet. Now we've emerged back onto the Fosse Way at the village's southeastern end. The footpath took us briefly out of civilization, but it's not long before we're back. There isn't much to tell you about this area of the village really. This is just where the Fosse Way makes its way out of Brinklow towards neighbouring villages like Easenhall and Bretford. Finally, we're at the War Memorial. To give this its full title, this part of Brinklow is known as the Brinklow Roadside Memorial Garden. That's too wordy for my liking. The memorial has been here since 2014. The village sign you saw in the thumbnail is here too. It's been here since 1998 and was made by A.A. Super, a local Brinklow craftsman. It depicts life in Brinklow, past and present. In all, that's been a fabulous little place. I thoroughly recommend this village as a place to visit. It's been my favourite village so far in Warwickshire, and the rest have a tough act to follow. What a beautiful village. I've thoroughly enjoyed my walk around this place. Time you guys had today's picture bit to finish it all off. Okay, that's it, that's Brinklow, and even the local residents like this place. We're parked next to a field of sheep with some cute little lambs as well. You can tell you're in the countryside right here. Right, I'm going to find my salad somewhere in this car. I think Nikki's already eating hers, aren't you?
Hurry up, because I'm eating mine and it's yummy.
Oh, is it? Oh, good stuff. That's what I like to hear. I'll get that down my neck before we do the last one in Rugby on this little trip, which is 2 miles to the, let me get this right, east, that way, down there. And you'll be seeing that one at some point in the not too distant future. But for now, this has been the parish of Brinklow, and I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.